April 6th in Bozeman, Montana. We're standing here with Laura Wilburn, who's been working with us over this last couple of days on an event here in Bozeman. What's the name of this event, Laura?
Well, today is called Echoes of the Earth in Times of Climate Change. The first part of the week was Strengthening the Circle, which is sort of a training for Native nonprofits. And this event's different in that it's art-focused.
And the organizers of the event today?
It was a cooperative between Hopa Mountain and Seventh Generation Fund.
Give us a little bit of a story of Hopa Mountain, the name and the history.
Sure. So Hopa is just the old English word for hope, and it means what is desired becomes possible. And that's really...
Say that again.
What is desired becomes possible. So it's really...
That's the old English word of hope, Hopa.
Yeah. And that's the crux of what Hopa Mountain does. We do a variety of things, but the core of it is finding that seed of hope in communities and helping them articulate a vision for positive change and then being there for them to give them resources to make that happen.
Today's discussions, there was a series of panels that focused on climate change with different presentations and presenters. Could you give us a little bit of a snapshot of what happened here today?
But what I saw, there was a discussion of, or a presentation, it's a performance about the polar bears.
Right.
The changes that they're seeing in polar bears up in Alaska.
Patterns of extinction and migration.
And how that is, polar bear is culturally significant, and historically significant for the tribes up there. And then those to future generations.
I got the definite sense that the conversation today on climate change was actually an articulation of the issue as climate chaos in terms of relationship to environmental systems approaching and passing beyond just change into the brink of chaos. In other words, chaotic relationships and not just changes, but transformations of even catastrophic nature.
Well, right. It's moving into a territory that we've never seen before. The impact we're having is accelerated changes to, kind of to a rate that's unprecedented before.
Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Safe journey.
And so I think because it's something that recorded history knows nothing about and human memory knows nothing about, that rate of change, it's one of those things.
The scale.
We don't know what's going to happen, and I think we've tweaked so many factors within this very delicately balanced system that I think that's a good characterization in terms of chaos. We don't understand all of the forces at work.
Right. Now, to my understanding, in present terminology, the concept of climate itself has got a vector of definition more or less 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, more or less. We're talking about time cycles now of millennia.
Right.
And actually time cycles of millennia, not only of the past, but projections into the future. I think this is actually the place where we have placed ourselves in terms of addressing the point of tipping, no? And what can be done, what is to be done, what is hopeful for us to project as far as in those areas. And I know your area of work in the past, you've studied water systems, no? That's your area. Can you speak a little bit about that, your history and your expertise?
So economics is a really fascinating area. It's often so associated with capitalism and that idea of just kind of using economics to increase sort of capital gain. But economics is a powerful tool within our system that, if used correctly, it can actually increase spiritual gain. It can increase, we can use it to work within the system that we've kind of created for ourselves here, which isn't sustainable, but we can use it to make something more sustainable if we're creative with it. And that's what I loved about sort of flipping that on its head. The very thing that, taking the thing that has caused a lot of problems for us and then exploring how we can turn that around and use it to our advantage with dealing with this.
Your area of study?
So in terms of specific, economics was kind of the methodology that I'm most familiar with. But I did do a lot of research into the watershed of the Colorado River.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, it's just a fascinating looking at all of the things that are affecting that river. You know, even we think of the problem as being focused down in the desert areas where populations are growing so much and it's really dry, but it really starts all the way up in the north, you know, the Colorado Rockies, where we're diverting.
We're not too far from that. Right here in Bozeman, on the other side of the divide. Don't let
Right. Yeah, we're not too far, and there's we're diverting a huge amount of the meltwater to fuel farms in Wyoming. And that, just from the outset, is kind of squeezing the river so that by the time it gets to all of the famous, you know, the Glen Canyon Dam and all of these things people know about the river, it's already dwindled down significantly. And that has such far-reaching effects that we don't even realize. It's not just the fish, it's what it does to the water table and how that affects our soil quality. It salinates the soil, which makes it harsh for living things to grow
agriculture.
in. Yeah, exactly. And so the more we deplete the soil in the area, and it's already a desert and difficult to grow and stuff, so as the water table drops due to the river being depleted.
Let's jump to the global. In terms of river systems planetarily and the relationship to watersheds and the ocean, because of course all of these terrestrial watersheds are tentacles or they're water basins that are extensions of the very single ocean itself as a planetary water system, no? Which is the whole aquasphere, no? The clouds, the rain, rivers, watersheds, and oceans and seas, no? And there isn't 7 seas, there's only one sea, it's all one system, no? So what has to be done by humanity to address our responsibility to the watersheds and river systems planetarily? What is the hope?
The hope is that we actually have a lot of knowledge and a lot of, you know, in terms of our different cultures, we have a lot of knowledge about how we can live differently.
Planetarily.
Yeah, just
From
use
indigenous
less water, be more locally centered. Don't transport things so far. We transport water too far. We transport agriculture too far. And all of these things.
That's not sustainable. That's
not
catastrophic.
Exactly.
In the present scenario, in the past it was bad enough. In the present scenario, it's catastrophic. It adds to the catastrophic nature of the decisions that have to be made to address the climate chaos scenario.
Yeah. So if we just decrease, if we just scale down, do things on a local level, and realize.
Is that really scaling down, or is it actually scaling realistically?
I think it's scaling realistically.
Scaling down would be down from what, you know?
Yeah, scaling down makes it sound
No,
bad,
that's not scaling down. That's
not.
Scaling to scale.
Yeah, exactly. Recognize what we have, that it's enough. That's the hope, is that this planet's abundant, and it has enough for us.
To realize that and to move into that.
Yeah.
Into that way of life, planetary.
Exactly.
And as indigenous people, 7th generation, and as Hope Mountain Foundation, that's why we're here today, to put start that imagination to be policy to be realized, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. We'll catch up with you guys later.
All right. Yeah, sounds
This is
good.
Willacoyot in Bozeman, Montana, at the 7th Generation Hope Mountain Conference, Echoes of Earth. Ayo.
There's your snap.
Dinner, then the Pablo. Maybe we'll see you at the fellow.